first, but he managed to get protection from Puff Daddy and the Crips, who are rivals of the Bloods. So Puff Daddy came to Los Angeles with his own security. At this point, the rivalry between East Coast and West Coast in the rap world was already well established, and tensions between East Coast artists, like Bad Boy Records affiliated Notorious B.I.G., and West Coast artists, like Tupac affiliated with Death Row Records, were at their peak. Meanwhile, Tupac was in prison on rape charges, and the situation was becoming more and more complex and dangerous. Upon his release, Tupac joined Death Row Records, further strengthening the rivalry between the two labels. The situation became even worse with the incident at Quad Studios in New York, where Tupac was the victim of a shooting. He accuses Notorious B.I.G., Puff Daddy, and other Bad Boy Records affiliates of being involved, fueling hatred between the two camps. Eventually, the rivalry came to a head with Tupac's tragic death in 1996 in Las Vegas, fueling conspiracy theories and speculation about the circumstances surrounding his death. It is important to note that this East Coast versus West Coast had devastating consequences for the hip-hop world, and it was associated with several other violent incidents involving artists from both sides. Tupac's death was a major turning point in this complex and tragic story. It seems like you share a story involving several characters, including Suge Knight, Tupac, Big Jack Robles, and others. However, there is no specific question or clear request for information. If you have a specific question about these events or would like to know more about a specific aspect of this story, please let me know, and I will be happy to help. It appears that the text chronicles events related to the hip-hop scene in the 1990s, involving artists such as Notorious B.I.G., Biggie Smalls, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac Shakur. Here is a summary of the main points from the passage you shared. Mark Bell, probably a typographical error, as the name is commonly associated with electronic music, returns to New York after a night out where he escaped a potentially dangerous incident involving the police. Mark Bell meets with P. Diddy to share his experience, indicating that Suge Knight is looking for information on him. On December 16, 1995, Snoop Dogg and the Dogg Pound traveled to New York to film a music video titled New York, New York. This is seen as an affront by Notorious B.I.G., as artists from Los Angeles are coming to New York for a song named after the city. Notorious B.I.G. uses the radio to heat up the population of Brooklyn by saying that Snoop Dogg and Tupac, Pac, are not present in New York, considering this as a lack of respect. During the filming of the music video, Snoop Dogg and the Dogg Pound were targeted and shot at. Fortunately, they are not injured. It's unclear who fired the shots, but Notorious B.I.G. had a lot of influence at the time, and his words incited violent reactions from some. It is mentioned that if the incident had been made known to Suge Knight and Tupac, they would have reacted with anger, violence, but not necessarily with the intent to kill. There appeared to be tensions and rivalries between East Coast and West Coast artists at this time, which contributed to the escalation of incidents. It seems that your text is about events related to the hip-hop scene, involving figures like Diddy, probably Puff Daddy, also known as P. Diddy, Notorious B.I.G., Tupac Shakur, Tupac, Suge Knight, Snoop Dogg, and others. However, the text is fragmented and a little difficult to follow due to some typographical errors and typos. If you have any specific questions about these events or would like clarification on any points, please do not hesitate to ask. I will do my best to help you based on the information available. It appears you are sharing information about a conflict involving figures connected to the hip-hop scene, specifically Notorious B.I.G., Notorious, P. Diddy, P. Diddy, Tupac Shakur, Pac, and Suge Knight. The story evokes incidents, tensions and rumors linked to confrontations between members of the Crips and Pirates gangs, as well as tense relations between the artists and their entourages. It is important to note that the events mentioned relate to specific periods in the history of the hip-hop scene, notably the conflict between the East and West Coasts of the United States in the 1990s. These events had consequences, tragic events, including the assassinations of Tupac Shakur in 1996 and the Notorious B.I.G. in 1997. If you have specific questions or would like additional information on a particular aspect of this story, please don't hesitate to ask. Appear to have lost patience and opened fire. Shootings between gang members and tensions within the music industry were unfortunately common at the time. To recap, on August 11, 1996, at a concert at the House of Blues with artists such as Snoop Dogg, Nas, and Kobe Bryant in attendance, members of the Pirates gangs, Crips, and security for Suge Knight of Death Row were also present. Outside the concert, members of the Crips, including Kiffity, were confronted by members of the Pirates and Death Row, including Reggie from Suge Knight's security. In an effort to avoid a violent confrontation, Reggie invited Kiffity for a chat to defuse the situation. However, some members of the Crips apparently ridiculed Kiffity over this. Suge Knight wanted Kiffity to facilitate a meeting between him and Pitidai to discuss their differences, but Pitidai refused. During the discussion, two members of the Crips opened fire, ending the confrontation violently. The exact details of the conversation and preceding events are unclear, but the situation clearly escalated into a shooting. It is important to note that these events are based on information available up to my last knowledge update in January 2022, and there may have been further developments or clarifications since then. We're not even in the discussion, they were a little further away. In short, they opened fire on S. Knight and his gang. They managed to escape, so here's a little shootout like that. The tensions are rising. We arrive a few days later. Mike Tyson will soon have a fight in Las Vegas. Kiffity wants to attend with his friend Eric Van Zip. Also members of the Creeps, Don, his nephew Orlando, all pack on his side. He had planned to go to Atlanta because he had family concerns, but put pressure on him to goes to perform in his club in Las Vegas. Well, finally he accepted it, and on September 6, 1996 Tupac arrives in Vegas. He had titles to record, including one for Mike Tyson. He also had a clip in a garage with Kazzy and JoJo and Knight. For his part, he knew that he would have members of the Crips in Las Vegas, so he did come 100 people from Bloods, Pirates, Death Row, etc. to Las Vegas as well, and so we arrive at 7 September. The next day, Pac is at the MGM casino with that deal. Gang guy, you're just a rapper, stay in your place. For me it's more of a story of ego, in fact, who killed all Pac, and that's what I'm going to leave you with, because concerning everything, his life and his death, what happened the days after all, that I will talk in the video dedicated only to Tupac there. It was really an introductory video, we will say, of all these stories. I will also do Notorious, and again other people also still Pitidai in relation to his wife Kim Porter. I told you that already on Wednesday, but here in any case this video she deserved to be before all the others to introduce you to the landscape, the decor. I hope I haven't lost you. I synthesized to the max once again a lot of what I told you and focused on Kiffity's testimonies. He is the survivor today, they are all dead. The 3 others in the car with him are dead, so here it is, testimonies in relation to the bodyguards of Tupac and testimony of Kiffity. I will keep you informed of what will happen during the trial of this famous Kiffity. Why was he not arrested before all this? I will tell you about it in the video on Tupac. On this I will tell you. Let me give you lots of big kisses, and I'll see you on Sunday for a lighter video. We're going to take a little break, and then we will resume all these stories. Kisses, ciao. CH.